Hello and welcome to Frank's School. I'm teaching punctuation, but before I get on to the story, this I need to give you. If you are going to proceed in my school, Frank's School, I'm going to teach German and other things, and punctuation as well. And really, in my mind, I think I am teaching students who are ninth graders who had me in 8th grade and who studied, who now know grammar and they know syntax. Now that's a fantasy. And something else I should say too, if you hear other sounds, people upstairs, the house has begun to come to life a little bit because my mother-in-law now lives here, and so you may hear extraneous sounds. I try to keep that down. All right, well, if you are real serious, if you get serious about trying to learn what I want to teach, you should know that there's a video, 42.1 Bare Necessities of Grammar, I think it says. But you could find it with a little bit of effort. Frank Antonson is my name. Well, if you're watching this video, you are on the channel. That teaches grammar. And then 84.1, Syntax Begun, that teaches syntax, and that you may not need as well. But that's a spot to start if you want to catch up or whatever. 171.4, that's where I begin to teach German, German conversation. That's what you would have to type in to search it to find it. And then EFD, that stands for English for Deutsche, English for Germans, 4.1, Buchstabieren, and on it goes. That surprised me because there were a lot of viewers in Germany and Austria and Switzerland that were interested in seeing that. Well, that's Buchstabieren means spelling. And I guess what interests them is that I spelled with my system so they could see American English the way it sounds, not just the way it's spelled. So anyway, I'm going to erase that, but I wanted you to have that. Those are places to go to if you want to sort of come on board or understand better what's going on. Well, all right, now, oh, and still something else before I get into the punctuation. Where do I come up with my rules, like that dash, which shouldn't be there yet? Well, I'll show you. It's from this, Webster's 9th New Collegiate Dictionary. This is an American dictionary. It is not English, it is not British, and it is a little different. It's already old. And what it taught is outmoded to some extent, but still older, and I will show you this with another way. Still older is Webster's 7th New Collegiate Dictionary. That's older still, and I'll probably show you that. And here's Webster's 5th edition, Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, 5th edition. But that's rather historic. This is the one that I'm using to support my ideas about punctuation. I'll show you more about that later. Also, there is the test, or the story that I'm covering here. It looked like this. I don't really want you to see this too well, although you could pause. Because it has the answers put in there, but this is a punctuation test based on what I've taught. All right, now the story, this very silly story, goes on like this. The rooster had not crowed. Well, the next sentence was, he was not himself that morning. Indeed, scarcely a rooster at all. He was not himself that morning, indeed, scarcely a rooster at all. Now, someone can understand that, but how to punctuate it? I'm really sorry I had that dash in there, because what so often happens with students or writers, if they wanted to say that, and that makes sense in English, he was not himself that morning, indeed, scarcely a rooster at all. They sense a pause, and so they want to put a period there, and they want to capitalize this as if it were a new sentence. Well, then they've got what's called a fragment, a sentence fragment. This is not a sentence. That is not a sentence. It's an afterthought. And I was so pleased, and I use it so much when I write, or emails, or in forums, when I realized that you can use a dash. That's a dash. It's not a hyphen. It's twice as long as a hyphen. You hit the hyphen key twice on a keyboard if you want a dash. And one of the uses, here comes I knew that was going to happen eventually. There's an air bubble in my pump, my water pump. I'm just going to speak over it. I'm amazed it hasn't happened yet. I could go turn it off, but I'll just speak louder. Maybe I could also use it as an occasion to point out my torn shirt. And, this is a rough life that we live here. This is not fancy. He was not himself that morning. And the justification for the dash is the rest is an afterthought. Indeed, requires a comma right there, because you don't need it. It's just stuck in there. And I'm really sorry about that. Scarcely a rooster at all, and then you need a period at the end of the sentence. Okay, oh, there it stopped. All right, I was going to say, out of mercy, I would cut the class off. All right, so I guess that's probably it now, though. I'm going to take this, well, no, I'll do that now. Here's the way, if you're only interested in punctuation, then you've seen enough. But if you're interested also in what I have to teach about foreign language, German, English as well, then watch. Here is what we actually say in English. So I'll continue to use a backslash as an indicator of here comes a spelling for pronunciation. And here is what we say. He was not himself. That. I'll eventually explain why I go with a D instead of a T, but not yet. That morning. Morning. It's tempting to make that a Y. Morning. Morning. Indeed. Indeed. Scarcely. Scarcely a rooster at all. He was not himself that morning. Indeed, scarcely a rooster at all. That's what we Americans from this area would say if we were reading that. All right, I have I have one more video today. So see you soon, I hope.